Iberia, ravaged by the bloody tides of war, kings and sultans, dukes and emirs. Adversity makes for strange bedfellows, my friend. And you must read carefully if you are to decide the fate of Iberia.
The House of Barcelona is flourishing. The conquest to remove Aquitaine's influence on the Duchy of Mallorca pushes our influence deep into the Mediterranean, and we are creeping ever outward to establish our own significant footprint in the West. However, peace is starting to settle on the Iberian Peninsula. With war becoming ever more expensive, what can I do with the time left to build House Barcelona even further? We cannot forget that someone is out there trying to kill me. Is it my rival, Emir Aziz? Or is it someone closer to me? Wheels upon wheels upon wheels. Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 role-playing series, continuing as DUKE Guifré The Second. We have a couple of housekeeping things in mind. First and foremost, your guys' support has truly been remarkable. I know I say this often, but seriously, the YouTube algorithm really does seem to favor it, and so I am appreciative of everything that you have done thus far. And if you are new and stumbling onto here, or you are unsure, the best way that you can support this channel, this series, is by giving it a like, by subbing to the channel, turning on bell notifications. The bell notifications are crucial, believe me. But also commenting. Again, comments, all of that engagement is doing marvelous things, and I'm appreciative of it. Also, a quick note, going forward, as mentioned, as much as possible, we will be releasing these early to YouTube members and patrons. So if you want to support the channel above and beyond, get the episodes early, and do all of those other things to help with the channel, that will be feasible through those two methods. Now, considering that just $1 a month is 1,000 views on average, your support even at $1 goes in immense ways, and I'm always appreciative of it, but it's obviously never ever required, and I wouldn't want you to feel compelled to put something aside just to support me. Lastly, but certainly not least, if you want to support this channel while also supporting yourself by purchasing a new game, you can do so through my Nexus game store. I get a bit of a commission, and that always does help, but you also get a game out of it, so it's like a win-win scenario. The link for all of those is in the description below. Now it's back to my roleplay face is back on. Let's get into DUKE Guifré The Second's story, continuing from the last episode. One of the things that's been on my mind of late is my death. It's terrible, but my father died a mere 17 years older than I am now. Admittedly, it was of his own undoing and the war on the islands. But I can't help but think how potentially difficult it would have been had my brother survived long enough for me to try and conquer him. And I don't want that for my sons. There is one small method which we could potentially do that, and that is with the high partition. The lion's share will go to the player heir, the rest will be divided amongst my other children, of course, as sons. Now, we can go two different directions. We can change to a high partition. The only thing separating from me from that is trying to influence Count Rodolph Radis of Minorca, who is my nephew. He is a child now. Now, we could do several things to influence this if we wanted to. We're not going to do any of those right at the moment. But another potential outlet, which I'm not adverse to, is we could ask them to join a holy order, and we could ask them to take vows and go into the clergy. Now, either or would actually be really, really nice. Christopher has a marshal of 9. Napoleon has a marshal of 7. And he is a bit more of a bookworm. Actually, I think they are both. Oh no. Now, Christopher is ill. if he recovers, I think he would make a great knight in the Holy Order. It does mean that I would lose him. But succession would be significantly easier if I only had to worry about one son. Napoleon, if we were to ask him to take the vows, he had to be 10. And we do need to push him. Let's push him into learning. I don't know if this is the best route, but it is an option. It is something I will consider. Definitely would like the council's thoughts on this as well. I'm looking for a bloodless transition of power. And serving God in many different ways is probably one of the best ways to settle the debate and keep it bloodless. It's always interesting to see how the fates will steer all of us in the right direction. Amir Aziz's capital is truly prosperous. Peasants of Zaragoza are fat and happy and productive. The Muslims have brought a new crop to their lands, rice. It's easy to grow, feeds the people well. Part of their success. Wouldn't mind being more productive peasantry myself. Perhaps I should establish rice fields in my own capital. But how should I get started? Gold, we could pay gold to him in which he would do it. But I find this interesting. Because it's not me that's actually convincing him. But rather, me convincing his friend on my behalf. This is a little more risky because there is a chance that we will lose. In which case, the opinion would go down, which isn't a bad thing. But I really do want those rice fields. They are very productive. Building construction costs go down. Development growth increases. And so does public opinion. I successfully convince him. Easy enough. And Baron Gerard of Vilha wants to invite my son Napoleon to the court. I'm inviting everyone will know it, which unfortunately includes him. Absolutely. He has returned from meeting his peers at Baron Gerard's court. Very nice. Awesome. Fantastic. One of the best signs that your house is thriving is a dynastic legacy. My father was able to bring about the House of Warriors, which increases our prowess for every single family member, and knight effectiveness. And while generational belligerence does actually sound relatively nice, including a casus belli cost reduction, I can't help but think that there are more important things, like noble veins, chance of inheriting good congenital traits, and new good congenital traits increases by 30%. For sure, there are other things that could be better. Dread gain. Natural dread is a good thing. And it certainly leads to some very interesting scenarios. But even as a metropolitan culture, as a house, influential cities is something that would be an interesting route to go down. Inner circle would actually save everyone some money. There are so many good traits. But I think noble veins is what has to be done. We want to reinforce the congenital traits. Because it will actually enhance things in the future. Has to be done. Well done, family. Well done, family. Let's actually take a look at our family, briefly, just to see how well we are doing. So it began with Duke Sonifred of Barcelona. And Duke Guifré I, the Harry of Barcelona, is where we began. And as you can see, it is definitely my line that has succeeded the most. Myron wasn't even married or didn't have children. Rodolphe had a Oliva de Barcelona. Sonifred, nope. Ricolf, the only one who's made it to the 3rd generation, but everyone else did not make it. Now, Radis, unfortunately, my brother, he leaves behind 3 children. My sister, Namilda, she also leaves behind children. But we have quite the boisterous line, you could say. We can kind of forget about this branch and focus more on this one. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. My goodness. And I even have grandnieces and nephews. What a house. And I'm glad to be in it. I'm glad to be leading it. I'm very, very excited to see how many grandchildren I have as well. My word. Very excited. Very, very excited. Well done, house. We are insignificant now, but it won't be too long, I feel, until we are definitely noteworthy. I don't swear often, so you have to pardon my French. I guess you could say pardon my Catalan. But Emir Aziz Ibn Muhammad of Saracusta is one devious bastard. My sister Antha de Barcelona, who has been my spy master my entire life, come to me with grave news. It's my rival that is plotting to kill me. He probably didn't take it too lightly that I stole his rice fields. Well, at least we know. At least we know who it is. The cocky fiend. Amir Aziz gains 11 dread. I lose 100 opinion of him. I'm allowed to rightfully imprison him, were he even to be in my realm. It ends the scheme to murder me, though, which is fantastic. And it's not something he can do for another 10 years, something I need to use to my advantage. And speaking of advantage, my diplomacy track in life is doing fantastic. Adaptive traditions allows foreign affairs effectiveness, allows me to learn languages. Writing history, I can take on an epic. Ooh, that sounds fun. Embassy sounds great as well, an accomplished forger. The diplomat trait is indeed something that I think would be good for us. But I'm actually going to go into defensive negotiations. Independent ruler opinion plus 15 would indeed be beneficial to everyone around me, so I think it's one of the best ways that we can go at the moment. And that boost is a sign of things to come. We can spend 250 piety to gain 187 gold. Decided to grant you these quests. May these funds help you spread the true faith in your lands, which is exactly what we are going to do. Why is that? Because not only have we discovered that Emir Aziz tried to murder me, but our truce is over. And while I could do a struggle clash, it is significantly more expensive than pressing my claims. We need one more sheikdom or barony in order to completely take the Duchy of Barcelona under my wing. We now have the funds to do that. And while I would love to actually go after him in other ways, I think this is one of the best ways. And not only that, but my hope, since I am going up against a hostile faith, that I would be able to hire them. I would be able to hire the Knights Templar. I would be able to get 4,276 soldiers and 6 knights at my head, which would mean I wouldn't need to risk any more prestige bringing allies in. It seems like too many things are lining up. And I am truly under the belief that God wills it. The Sheikdom of Leda. Sound the battle drums. Hire the Knights Templar. And raise all of my armies. It's time to go to war. In our first clash, Count Paul leads our armies against Wali Abdul Wahad of Utrilis. Certainly very much superior armies, but I think we will win. The only condition is that the Taifa of Tale Tula may come in and threaten things a bit. Very nice. Pancratios has wounded an enemy knight. Victory is ours. That secures a very good ways, and it looks as though the Taifa of Tule Tula may look to try and take on the barony of Velha. Of course, we would succeed at every venture. It is a rather risky little bet, but one that we will gladly take on. Snag him, please. Thank you. Absolutely. These guys don't stand a single chance. Unfortunately, Bernat Amat is no longer my court physician. I have a new bishop. That's all right. Paul has killed Gomez d'Aviols. Well done. Unfortunately, Count Burrell has been wounded by Huali. Oh man, this is a very good battle on our hands. While I wait to hear the reports of the battle, King Godefroy of Aquitaine wants to strike up a conversation. I'm going to politely decline. Another victory is on our hands, although I fear, yes, the Taifa of Saracusta is simply coming back to get smacked in the face once more. I do wonder if splitting our troops in half might help. The second army of Urgel is led by Commander. I'm going to send Count Burrell. And I'm sending Paul back into Barcelona as I send the second army of Urgel over into here. Let's hope this splitting works. I don't believe that they have enough soldiers to really push me in either direction. Here we go. The third battle. Tahir of Basque, the band of Vizcaya. Those are mercenaries, mind you. So he has hired some mercenaries. Success after success. This may be a relatively quick war, one that I will be thankful for. Assuming that that is indeed what happens. This is something unexpected, but pretty cool. Amir Fariz ibn Abdullah of Balencia. He is the Taifa of Balencia. Alongside this letter, you'll find the severed head of one of the thieves that's been running amok in both our realms. I have taken the liberty of executing him and informing your garrison in Barcelona of the location in which his accomplices lie. A delightful gift indeed. The control level in Barcelona will change by 10. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Perhaps we could invite you to an activity. Perhaps I could call a hunt. Let's do it. Let's call a hunt. I do appreciate it. In the midst of a war, this is comforting to see. He is accepted to join the hunt. You call a hunt with Amir Aziz as a special guest? The woods truly is the mantle of the poor, but as the boar flees in panic from foraging peasants, I feel my patience wearing thin. Surely there must be better things to do in Menorca than picking roots and mushrooms. You know what? A generous donation would definitely keep them away long enough. We'd only lose 30 gold, we gain piety. And the county of Menorca gains aided peasants, which increases popular opinion and development growth. Absolutely. Maybe we'll be able to snag ourselves a boar yet. The hunt is drawing to an end. We mount our horse to leave the plains behind as the servants prepare the boar, the game for the journey back. To heed the call of the wild is usually an adventure, and this outing truly delivered both the good and the bad in overabundance. We gain 150 prestige, the hunt ends, but we have some things to take care of in Barcelona. It appears the Taifa of Tula has besieged Barcelona, and I do believe the Taifa of Saracusta is hoping to reinforce him. I don't think it will happen. He has already abandoned it, and I am hoping that we can track him down and take him out before he's able to escape, but not before my twins, Guifré and Zemina. There was a commotion among the children. Zemina was again trying to attempt to preach to her fellow youngsters and became the target of a small fight. Guifré intervened. Absolutely brave. This is amazing. Martial prowess and attraction opinion. Likelihood of dying in battle, unfortunately, has increased by 100%. But regardless, he is shaping up to very much be the marshal that we want him to be, that we need him to be for the future of House Barcelona. We have yet to lose a battle. I don't know that it's going to happen. Oh. Amidst the victory, our daughter, Ermengarda, has given birth to a son. Since the little one's part of the Barcelona family, he should be blessed with a good name. That is the second son by Ermengarda. Very well done. We need an ancestor. Acfredo, absolutely. That works for me. They are retreating. I am going to pursue. The the Taifa of Saracusta as we lay siege. 7 more months left. My commander is doing an amazingly good time. We have yet to lose a battle. Our war score is at its max. Battles won. We simply need to have the war score, and I believe we may be able to wrap this war up. I'm going to sit the barony of Melis, or at least I will have my army sit, rather, and see what they have in response to this. It's not going to be anything good on their part. The Sheikdom of Leda is ours, and I saw it coming miles away. They are attempting another coastal landing. I don't know where they're getting this idea that this is the smart move, but we're going to resist them at Barcelona and at Tarragona, and once we repel them, we'll be able to push into their own territory deep again, perhaps even going into the capital of Saracusta itself. Whatever we have to do to try and get this won quickly. 19 months, almost 2 years. We've snagged both of these armies. We seem to be winning. I think we actually will. My nephew Count Borel, he is doing fantastically well, despite the odds giving me long enough to send in reinforcements. This is absolutely glorious. Oh my word. Well done, troops. Very much well done. Let's move into... Let's move to the Wahlia of Alcanis. And we will hang behind in the mountains as a response should anything else happen. It seems as though the enemy are trying to take Leda back. I have 16 days before the siege of Alcanis is mine. I will send my troops on the condition that they are able to go into there. We will actually hold back for our reinforcements. I want to cross the river first to send my men over there so the penalty doesn't apply, and therefore I can push into Leda without any combat debuffs. And hopefully the reinforcements will reach them in time to secure the final victory. Moving my troops, they have met as one. And indeed are fighting as one. Oh, it's glorious. Victory after victory after victory. Unfortunately, Paul has died of old age. Not even in the midst of battle, but simply old age. What an absolute champ. Now, unfortunately, the marshal position is open. I'm actually going to promote Count Borel. He's been doing very, very well since we have first initiated him into the army. I can't complain. I'm actually very, very satisfied. And we still have enough guests or enough knights to not worry about having to deal with anything, any shortages, which is awesome. Now I think our final push is to get the Knights Templar, Grand Master himself, to go after the Wahlia of Monzon while we wrap up the last little tidbits of this war and I secure the Duchy of Barcelona completely. My wife and I have been together for a significant period of time. I'm contemplating whether to share something with her the next time we're by ourselves, away from listening ears. The things I've learned about Mascaros would be a great interest to her. Absolutely. The secret is revealed to Duchess Inigwin. Surely she won't do anything with it, right? And even if she does, I feel like that's actually okay. Before the siege can even be complete, it is time to end this 3 years long war, to get the Sheikdom of Leda, the Mosque of Argamut, and push our claim to the vile Duke Guifré. You child of a mangy dog, you are a much greater foe than I imagined. In order to put an end to this bloodshed, I will comply. We actually gain? We actually gain. That's interesting. Now, unfortunately, I'm above my domain limit. That is, perhaps, Duchess Inigwin, you are a masterful work of art. By managing my domain, she has actually increased beyond what I originally could. Now, Count Burrell, we are certainly going to push you. 6 years is how long it will take to get Leda, which is okay. The Holy Order has been dismissed, and I do believe we've got some prisoners. Wali Yassar, absolutely, thank you. Emir Aziz Mufti, we have captured the spouse. Interesting. I will do that for gold, that's fine. My prisoner and rival, Sheikh Ulayam ibn Yusuf. I didn't even know he was my rival. I think we'll save that for another time. My prisoner and vassal, oh, that is correct. No, she can stay there as well. I can hire a court physician. This is the truth. My court physician died during the wars, and I forgot to do something about it. Rather than try and hire a court physician, what if we married one? Well, I found an unmarried knight, Hildebert de Chateau Thierry. Not that great of a knight, I might add. His prowess is not fantastic. But Isabella will accept. And she is a renowned physician, so that should work for us. And indeed, she has accepted. Now, that should mean that she is a rather... That works. That's not anything to be disappointed about. I do have prisoners. We have ransoms that are being accepted, which are filling our coffers. Which means we need to pour back into our people themselves. And I believe we're going to go with some hill forts. This pass right here is one of the few reaches that can be utilized to try and get into France, or France to get into here. Hill forts will increase the fort level by 2, bringing us to a tier 4 fort. It also increases our garrison and defender advantage. That's what will be used. And we are but one step closer towards the Kingdom of Aragon. All we need to do is completely control Saracusta, which is not an easy thing to do. And in fact, I'm still not entirely sure that I, Guifré II, will be able to do such a thing. Perhaps that will change in the future. But right now, I'll have to say I'm quite satisfied with my completely united Duchy of Barcelona. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be the end of this chapter in Duke Guifré II's life and his life story. I do hope you enjoyed it. The war was quite successful. It's probably one of the most successful ones that I've ever had in Crusader Kings 3 against a significantly large force. We will continue Duke Guifré II's story next week. But if you did enjoy any part of this, of course, your support is always appreciated. And you can do this by giving the video a like, subscribing to the channel, turning on bell notifications, and commenting. You can also share it. Why not? I think that's one of the best ways. You have a friend who think you would enjoy this roleplay series, send it to him. You're in a Discord, send it to him. You're on the forums and you're like, hey, I haven't seen any good roleplay videos on the CK3 Reddit page, send it to him. Anything you can do is immensely helpful, and it is because of your support and enthusiasm in the comments section and your engagement that has kept this series alive and running for me. I am always excited to boot up Crusader Kings 3 thanks to your engagement. Guys, we will be back with Duke Guifré II's story in the next episode. This is Havoc, and I'll see you then.
Iberia, ravaged by the bloody tides of 4 kings and sultans, dukes and emirs. Adversity makes for strange bedfellows, my friend. And you must treat carefully if you are to decide the fate of Iberia.